Looking at the hour meter on my John Deere 3020 tells me it's time to change the oil. So let's start it up, get it warmed up, and change our oil. What you're going to need to change the oil on a 3020 is an 1¼ inch wrench. You can also use a socket and ratchet if you prefer. And that's to remove the drain plug on the bottom of the oil pan. A 9/16 wrench, that removes the housing that holds the oil filter in place. I picked up 2½ gallons of Shell Rotella. It calls for 9 quarts. You'll have a quart left over. You also are going to need a oil filter, and I use stock number from John Deere AR26350. And the last thing you're going to need is some sort of an oil catch pan. First thing you do is you take that 1¼ wrench and loosen up and remove the drain plug. Have your catch pan underneath and let it drain. Next thing, we take the 9/16 inch wrench or socket or ratchet, whatever you prefer, and loosen up these nuts that hold the housing on. And you'll see that as you loosen these bolts, it allows the oil to drain where the oil filter is. I give that just a little bit of time, let most of that get out of there. One thing I might add now that I forgot to tell you is you're going to need a towel, rag, something to wipe your hands on. Okay, now that most of the oil is drained out, we'll go ahead and remove these bolts, nuts, washers. One thing I'll mention that this is kind of like on a spring-loaded, I don't know what, but you'll notice that it'll pop out. Finish letting that drain. While we're doing that, we'll get the oil filter out. And now we're going to remove, well, that didn't go so well. We're going to remove the oil filter. We'll take the wiping rag, clean everything up. Now also, there's a O-ring that goes right in this groove right here. It's also on the engine. Go ahead and put the oil filter like that, and then slide it back. Put this back in place. It says top right there, so just slide it in like so. Line the bolts back up, push it in, and then go ahead and put your nuts on. So we've got the 4 bolts, nuts back in place. Tighten those down, and then we're going to put the drain plug in the bottom. We'll clean that up, put that in the bottom, and then start adding oil. Put the plug in, take your 1¼ inch wrench, snug it up. Let's put some oil in it. To get to the oil filler a little bit easier, I just remove the 30/20 side panel. This is the dipstick. Take it out. Have a nice clean funnel. A little bit tall, but it's what I have. And then we'll begin adding oil. And like I said, this takes 9 quarts. This is a 2½ gallon jug. So we'll add all but a quart. I've added the 9 quarts of oil. I'm going to start it up. Engine off, we have no leaks, everything looks good. Let's double check, make sure the oil level is fine, put the dipstick in, and it's right where it needs to be. So oil change is complete. I'm going to put this thing to work. We're going to start baling straw here. Hey everybody, that's how easy it is to change the oil on a 30/20. Glad you watched. And until the next time, take care and God bless.